Hi, I'm Nancy Lucina, and today I want to talk to you about something that is very near and dear to my heart, and something that I don't think we talk about enough in our society, which is our sacred menstruation cycle. Today I want to talk specifically about the phase that you enter before you begin your menstruation. So, this is the phase after ovulation and before you actually start bleeding. Um, there are four distinct archetypes that you pass through, four distinct feminine archetypes that you pass through every month. And one of those archetypes that I want to touch on today is called the Enchantress or the Sorceress. So, this is a phase that I think is often the most difficult for women to navigate, and I think it's also the most misunderstood phase. This is often when women experience PMS symptoms, and so I want to bring light to that today, like perhaps to show you a different twist on it, the more energetic perspective of things, the more kind of spiritual perspective of things. So if you're a woman who's experiencing extreme mood swings and really a lot of like physical discomfort, then obviously there might be something that is out of balance in your hormones. But if you're simply experiencing a shift in your energy and you feel like somehow more emotional, maybe more short with people, craving more alone time, more judgmental of yourself and of others, and perhaps more fierce, then I would say that you're entering into just the natural phase of this cycle. So within the four archetypes, there are two that are internal. So two that are external and two that are internal. The two that are internal are the one that I'm talking about now and when you're actually bleeding. So what the sorceress comes to do for us is to teach us how to be alone. She comes to help us to refocus our arrow, so to speak. So when I think of her, I like to imagine her as she's holding this bow and arrow. And this is the phase whereas when you're ovulating, you're very much in love with your life and your energy is overflowing. It's a very external phase. Moving into the Enchantress or Sorceress phase is when you're starting to become more critical of what's going on in your life. So this is actually a beautiful opportunity to get to know this woman inside of you and to use her to help you refocus that arrow. So she'll bring up questions for you like, what are you really doing with your life? Are you actually thriving in that? What kind of patterns have you been creating? Have you been creating those patterns consciously? Do you want to keep creating those patterns? So it can be this really difficult emotional time to navigate because suddenly all of these questions come up and you might feel a lack of clarity. But if you go into that phase with full surrender and really take the time to pull back and have it be that internal time of reflection and contemplation, then you'll receive these gifts from this inner sorceress who will help you to really gain clarity on the direction that you're going with your life. So she is also a woman within you that is experiencing a pretty big amount of grief every month. And this is because even if you do not want to become pregnant, there is some, like intellectually, this is not the time for you to become pregnant. There is something within you on a very primal level that always wants to become pregnant that month, at that time that you're ovulating. So there's this grief that happens when your egg is not fertilized. There's this grief when this lining that you've been building up to nourish a baby suddenly is going to be dispelled. And so you need to consciously work with that grief. And so she comes up, this kind of fierce woman, to also help you turn that grief into something else. So this is a really good time to do creative projects that are not for anybody else, but really just for you. So that might look like journaling, or that might be just getting out a blank piece of paper and just doing some wild art, just total self-expression, so that you can somehow channel that last bit of energy that you have before you menstruate. And that energy might be this difficult, maybe like some rage might come up, some anger. She also, this is also the phase that is represented by the dark goddesses. So Kali energy might come up, which is really about cleansing anything that is not serving you. And so when we're able to move to this level of acceptance with these feelings, we can actually really begin to learn from them and to grow from them. This is really the time that you're not going to tolerate anyone's bullshit. And so this is why we get dismissed as being bitchy. Or maybe that's going to be her time of the month soon, and these things that just kind of dismiss us, people say all the time. Whereas really what's happening is that this darker goddess is calling you forth to really set up your boundaries and to really claim your own personal space. So this is a time when you're going to want to spend much more time alone, really carve out some time for some self-care practices. I love dancing during this period, like just dancing by myself, putting on some music, and really allowing those emotions to fully express themselves through the movement of my body, particularly with my hips and my belly. She might need more gentle self-care, like a bath with some essential oils. If you begin to make a relationship with this woman, she will teach you what she really needs. So the next time this energy comes up for you and you feel this sudden sharp change after ovulation, just remember that you're meeting this Enchantress. So the Enchantress side of her is the magician who can transform heavy energies into productive ones. And the sorceress side of her is really the fierce dark goddess who is going to be really upset if you don't listen to her. So this is just a very short video of what she is all about, and there are 3 other feminine archetypes that we go through every month as well, that I teach women about in my coaching calls. And also, if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, below this video there's a link that you can click on to download a free meditation that I have created. It's a guided meditation that will take you down into your womb space to meet your inner wise woman and to begin to open up a dialogue with this powerful energy that you have present with you all the time in your womb space. So let's spread this knowledge of how sacred our cycles are, instead of dismissing them, instead of, shoving in a tampon and just moving on like it's any other day when it's simply not. Let's reclaim our femininity so that we can begin to remember that we are cyclical beings as women. We are very much connected to the force of the moon, to the cycles of the moon, and to the cycles of the greater seasons of nature. So we're not linear and we're not directional in that way that society wants us to believe. We're actually cyclical, and so we go through these very distinct changes every month. So let's spread the news and raise a new generation of empowered girls who will turn into very powerful women. And let's watch this world totally change when that happens. Thanks for watching.